All right, so let's take a look at this round with Tuan here. So right off the bat, as he starts grabbing my wrist, I'm going for this duck under, very quickly getting to his back. Now let's break that down. Okay, so first of all, I have one wrist and I'm kind of letting him, reaching out with my hand, kind of taunting him to grab this arm here. So as he does, I'm throwing this arm away, pulling his elbow away from his chest and putting my head right behind his armpit. And from there, a lot of white belts, I feel like you're going up and trying to grab the choke as fast as possible. We want to get our hands on the waist here, all right? From there, lifting him, tilting him in the air, and we're able to put him down to the ground and get our hooks in for the back take. So Tuan immediately starts rotating, gets out of the back, and now look, he's going to control this leg and steps right into a leg lock here. What's going on? Okay, so I'm going to start rotating out and trying to free my knee line. The one thing we want to think about with legs is as long as your knee is outside of the hips, for the most part, you should be pretty safe. Now, as he's going in for this knee cut, notice he's controlling my ankle here. So one rule that we talk about at my gym a lot is the rule of 90s. So you don't want to ever step your far leg past their hip line, all right? Because what I can do is I can start to underhook it. All right, so I'm going to underhook it and start to work towards X guard. But as you can see, he's controlling that far leg, and it makes it really hard for me to insert, hooks or butterfly hooks and try to elevate Tuan. So he's going to settle into headquarters here. I'm trying to build up to this wrestle up, but as I do that, he latches onto the front headlock and starts attacking the kimura. Looking at that a little deeper, right? I try to go for this wrestle up, not the greatest position to wrestle up from. And he starts trying to attack this front headlock. Now, as he starts jumping over me, I'm going to use my left leg to lift him. And this should push his torso away from me and make it a little harder for him to collect the front headlock. All right. I'm also using the rest of my body, extending my arm and just trying to create that space between his chest and my head. From there, he starts locking onto the kimura and uses that to start coming up into the guard pass. As he does that, I'm trying to turtle and he sits into an armbar. So you'll notice, in terms of armbar escapes, you'll notice as he starts falling over, I actually have his left leg trapped here. So by trapping the leg with my legs, I can start creating a strong opening through his hips and I can start pulling my elbow down. So if you're ever in an armbar, what you want to think about is either using your elbow or your legs to start lifting one of those legs. That way you can create a hole in the armbar. From there, Tuan is going to start attacking my legs. So with leg locks, another really good idea is I want to maintain my feet inside. So you're going to see him actually start to wrap up on my heel here. But because I have my other foot inside, it's going to be a little bit harder for Tuan to heel hook. I'm getting my left leg inside. Now I have both feet on the inside position, right? So Tuan's feet are outside of my feet. It's going to give me a much better ability to push him away, also open up re-attacks and things like that. And then one thing that I really want to cover, so looking at jiu-jitsu as a whole, in almost every position, if their feet are not attached to you, you are in pretty good shape. So Tuan right now is using his legs to try to break my legs, right? So I'm going to start pushing his feet away from me. And now you'll notice both feet are disconnected and I can escape. So in almost every position, there's very few positions where, sorry, my brain's jumbling. There's so many thoughts going on. But in almost every position, if you can detach their feet from touching you, you should be safe. Whenever I'm looking at defense from a guard player, if I can make sure their feet don't touch me, I should be in pretty good shape. And similarly to what I'm saying right now, my feet are not connected to Tuan. He's able to start cutting angle and passing my guard. I'm immediately turtling because I want to avoid those points. And he starts taking the top position on my back. So he starts falling, and I guess he's going for some sort of crucifix or something. I'm able to start getting my head out, locking my hands around his legs, trapping his legs, and now I can start building height with safety because, once again, his feet aren't attached, and I've now trapped his legs from being able to touch me. So whenever I'm playing guard, we talked about this in the last video as well, if I can raise this ankle over Tuan's head, it's going to keep him down. So just a really good idea whenever you're playing from a passing position. Now, Tuan's actually going to go and do this crazy Granby roll into saddle here. So another good idea with leg locks, I want to keep my toes pointed away from him and keep my heel resting here on his ribs. I don't know if resting is the best word, but heel to the torso and toes away from them, right? Because he's trying to pinch my toes behind his armpit and dig into the heel. So I want to pretty much do the opposite of that, right? Point my toes away, hide my heel here. Now he starts building height, and if you're a white belt watching this video, we need to have a very strict conversation, all right? What I just did there can be fairly dangerous, all right? I'm scissoring my feet behind his knee, and had I landed full body weight, it could have injured my training partner. Okay, so you're gonna notice I'm planting my hand on the floor, and I'm not even falling to my hip in this motion. I'm just swatting at his legs to trip him. This is a dangerous position. It's called the Kani Basami. Please do your research and learn why it's dangerous and whether or not you are good enough to attempt this move safely, all right? So I'm just swatting at his legs, trying to make him fall over. I do sit to the ground, but notice it wasn't in the same motion. So there's the swat, my foot's planted, his weight's down now. It's fine if I land. So falling back over, trying to go into X guard, and he does something really, really cool here. So you're gonna notice, right? He's starting to attack the leg, and then now that I'm starting to like sit up to defend it, my underhook opens up and he dives in for a knee cut. Because he dived so aggressively, he kind of overshot it, and I'm able to get my knee back into his hip position, and it's gonna be very hard for him to finish the pass. I can just kind of keep him away, keep him at bay. And I start wrestling up into close guard here. So, all right, Dad's strength is valid, but so is Dad cardio. All right, he's a little gassed out. Now is my time to shine. All right, he's been beating me up this whole time, and we're gonna get him back. We're in close guard here. Now, I don't necessarily recommend this, but this is just something my old coach did, and I kind of picked up on the habit as well. I'll give them my leg from close guard, so they'll underhook it, and then I pass their K guard. So I know the K guard's coming, so they start to duck the knee, and I'm just getting my hands on the feet. Once again, disconnecting the feet, making sure the feet don't touch me, and I should be pretty safe. Now, my passing style is a little interesting. I haven't really seen a lot of people use the same type of guard passes that I'm doing. So you're gonna notice here, I do this freaking head bobble, all right? I think he actually kicks me. We're just gonna go with he kicked me, all right? And I know this leg is coming up, all right? So I'm trying to get my head below the knee and scoop his leg. Boom. Head goes below the knee, and I'm looking to scoop. He straightens this leg to get it heavy, which means this one's now light. So I'm gonna transition to the other side, underhooking, grabbing his belly. Once again, the high leg comes over, so I'm ducking to the opposite direction. And same thing again. And same thing again. So the idea here is I'm cutting very minuscule angle by simply just changing my head and hand position around his legs. Okay, so right now I'm in front of him. Now I'm on his right side. And now I'm on his left side. And now we're gonna go back to the right side. And then once again, back to the left side. So what I'm doing here is I'm just wearing him out, wearing him down. And he's getting so tired because of this, where by the time I pass into side control, I'm very safe. And I don't necessarily have to worry about Tuan giving me these big explosive reguards and possibly getting my leg attacked because I wore him out so much before I passed his guard. It's always something I think about whenever I'm doing jiu-jitsu and looking to pass from top. I want to wear them out so I can safely pass into side control. All right, so we're playing half guard here. All right, Tuan starts to hip block, use his right arm to hip block. All right, so if he were to cut this way, right, his arm's already here to block my legs. But as he does this, I'm starting to put weight on his head, and then I'm using my other arm to cut behind the tricep. And now I'm gonna pull this tricep through as I sit my body around and start to look to take his back here. All right. He starts building his hip high. All right. So in scrambles and any position where you're trying to get on top, the person with the higher hips is normally going to win. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my hand and transition to this single leg. And now I'm looking into his ribs here. I start to notice this leg gets a little light. So I'm actually going to duck my head under his leg while I have the hand and continue around here to the guard pass. And I try to fall back into the leg lock. We have about 30 seconds left on the clock. I'm like, I'm just looking for some sort of submission here. And then he steps into the heel hook, back stepping into the saddle and just collects my heel. But I hope you guys were able to learn something from this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more.